Hi everyone, and welcome back to today's video.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come.
Today I wanted to share with you guys something that completely changed the trajectory of my life. So I didn't grow up privileged. I grew up in a very hard situation. I grew up in poverty, and we faced a lot of challenges daily that many people can't even imagine. But today, I live a life of luxury, and I'm constantly surrounded by beautiful things, great people, unimaginable experiences, and financial freedom. And the crazy thing is, all of this started simply because of luxury retail. Now, before you think this is just another rags to riches story, stick with me because I'm going to show you how luxury retail isn't just about selling things and being around expensive stuff. It's about opening doors and changing your mindset and transforming your financial future. So let's dive in. So like I said before, I didn't grow up in luxury. I grew up in a place where literally all the odds were stacked against me. I am quite literally the opposite of what every single statistic said that I should be. When I was growing up, my mom, she was sick. She was diagnosed with a terminal illness when I was very, very, very young. I think I was probably 1 or 2 when she was diagnosed. So she couldn't work. My father, he was a drug dealer, robber, among other things, and he was in and out of prison my entire life, and now he has a whopping 10 felonies. And most of the time when my mother was sick and she couldn't care for me and my father was in prison, I was with my grandmother, who was my mom's mom, who also struggled with substance abuse. So it really wasn't a great environment for a kid. I'm not gonna say that my life was completely terrible, because of course when you're a kid, you don't really pay attention to all of the bad things. You know, you only know the good experiences. Like, I remember my grandmother giving me candy or like watching movies with me, and I kind of phased out the parts in my brain where I would spend nights with her in trap houses and my mom never knew. So these are things that came back up as I got older, and I started to realize that I really wasn't in a healthy environment growing up. And not only that, but after my mom passed away when I was 15, she left my 4-year-old sister, and my father was also in prison at this time. So we had nowhere to go. So we moved in with my great grandparents. My great aunt, she took custody of us, but we moved in with my great grandparents because that's who we were used to being around. And they didn't deal with substance abuse. It was their kids that kind of had the substance abuse problem. But my grandmother, who did have the substance abuse problem, she did move in with us. So it was difficult to live around that, someone with such strong drug addictions, and that has been, that has been a prominent feature in her life since she was 18 years old. So to have to be drugged into that, especially as a teenager, being forced to do things that, my mom would never allow to happen, and not having a safe space to turn to was really difficult. So when I turned 18, it was really my time to get out. And I really wanted to make it out of that situation of where I had come from. I had come from a place where, my idea of a good job was being the manager at Family Dollar, because no one else in my family had a job. They all did illegal things to survive and to feed themselves, or they just simply relied off the government. So I knew that I wanted to make it out of that situation, but I just didn't know how, because I never had the example of how to make it out of that situation. But I always had one thing in my mind. I knew that I wanted more. I did not want to be stuck like everyone else around me. I wanted to change my life, which that came in a very unexpected form, which actually I have to give credit to my best friend for this, because we were in high school and she worked at a chili place. And she's like, yeah, you should come work here, because I was looking for a job, and we were all just now starting to get jobs. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go work there. And I worked at the chili place for maybe a month before I was like, okay, I cannot do this. This is not for me. They were like so rude. They mistreated their minor staff and they overworked us. And I had enough going on at home to the point where I needed my place of work to be my safe space, to be a place of getaway for me. So I quit. I left because I knew my worth and I knew how to value myself, which is also something that you should know how to do. Learn your worth and know how to value yourself. Don't stay in a position that's not for you or that you feel isn't right simply for the money. Okay, there's always another option that will pay you to work somewhere that you feel you deserve to work. After I quit that job, even though I was leaving all of my friends, I decided that I wanted to work somewhere completely different. That's when I applied to the designer shoe warehouse, and it was a few blocks away from my house, and that is where I got my very first luxury retail job. And this is where my story takes a turn, because when I was younger, I never was able to afford, things like Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Forever 21, like all of those stores that a lot of the young girls today, you see them going in and getting fitted for things and their mom is buying them stuff. I never had any of that when I was growing up. These are things that I had to buy for myself for the very first time as I turned into an adult. So when I got hired at the designer shoe warehouse, I would just walk up and down the aisles and I would look at all the name brand shoes and I'm like, oh, what is Steve Madden? Oh my gosh, what is Aldo? I had never seen these brands before, even though to some people these brands aren't even luxury, but to me they were, because they were far out of my price range. And after I started getting my paychecks and my money started rolling, I had a discount to the store, so I started buying myself nice things. I started buying myself nice bags from the store. I started buying myself nice shoes from the store. I started to expose myself to a life of luxury. And that literally turned into the biggest transformation ever. It quite literally, I say this all the time to my younger cousins who are in a situation that I had enough strength to leave and had enough courage to leave. And, they're still coming up behind me. I tell them all the time, apply for you a luxury retail job. And after I left DSW because I went away to college, I started working at Victoria's Secret, and then that just led to more luxury retail jobs such as Marc Jacobs, for example. That was an amazing experience for me. I have things in my closet that I would have never even dreamed of, and they all came free from Marc Jacobs and Victoria's Secret, and that's what I can say about a luxury retail brand. They are extremely generous with their staff. So now let me tell you why working in luxury retail is such a big perk. And it's one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself, especially if you're starting from the bottom and you are nowhere right now. It's not just about a paycheck. That's a big deal too, but it's really not just about the paycheck. There are so many more benefits hidden within that industry that can skyrocket your career and your success, as well as your personal growth and your financial freedom. So number one, it is exposure to high value products. So working in luxury retail obviously will expose you to a lot of things that you would not have had the option to be exposed to before. I mean, I never thought that I would own a Louis Vuitton or a $600 Marc Jacobs jacket, but I do. And not even that, but learning the ins and outs of those products as well. Like I'll be walking down the street and it's just out of habit now, even like being in healthcare, I'll walk down the street and just out of habit, I analyze people and their health. I'll look at someone's ankles and I'm like, that person has hypertension. It's the same when you work in luxury retail. You learn what luxury looks like. I'll be walking down the street and I'll look at someone's bag and I'm like, that's not an authentic bag. But that's just because I have an eye for it now. I know what it looks like. I know what quality feels like. And it really is a different experience. And not only that, it's not just the products, but it's the experiences too. You literally start to learn how the other half lives. And you start to understand how luxury works and how you can bring luxury into your life. Number two, it's networking opportunities. So the people that you meet in luxury retail are game changers. There are so many people in luxury retail that have means, that come from means, and people who are like you, who work their way up and they've got it, honey. Okay, like that's why I love luxury retail. Like you really do get exposed to a lot of things. Like I know that this is not a flex. It's not a flex now, but at one point it was. But I have met Les Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret. Also, when I worked at Marc Jacobs, it wasn't me, unfortunately, but my manager, she was invited out to New York Fashion Week for a party to hang with Marc Jacobs and the rest of the celebrities. Like you really are a part of their community when you work in luxury retail. So you're constantly surrounded by people who are successful. You're constantly surrounded by people who are willing to share their knowledge with you. And you're constantly surrounded by people who are influential. Do you know how they say all the time, show me your friends and I'll show you your future? If you're in luxury retail, your friends are people who have means, who know quality, who are luxurious themselves. That is your future. That is how that works. You're not around people who are like, well, that's unobtainable. I can't do that. I know that if you are a person who grew up in a space and you always wanted more, you've had people around you who have tried to downplay what it is that you want, who have tried to make it seem like that's impossible, like it's never going to happen. I know that I grew up in a place where, to my family, becoming a millionaire is a fantasy. That's a fairy tale. To me, it's very realistic. And it's only very realistic because I've met millionaires, because I've been around them, because I've sat at the table with them, and I know where they come from. So to my family, it's not realistic. To me, it is, right? So you have to surround yourself by people who see your vision and people who also have that vision as well. And being in luxury retail does that for you. Not only that, but the thing that I love the most about luxury retail is learning the stories of the owners and where they come from, learning how they work their way up to the top. And you really, really, really get into the nitty-gritty of how customer service works. And this makes you a top candidate for any job that you want to apply to afterwards. So whether it's customers who own their own businesses or customers who have been in the luxury industry for years, all of these relationships can propel you forward. These connections will literally open doors that you never knew existed. And then we have the high earnings potential. Like, I know a lot of people are like, girl, what? So I've worked in multiple retail stores. Not all of them have been luxury, but the retail stores that I did work in that were luxury, they don't just pay that base pay that you see. Like, let's say if you work at a luxury retail store and they start you off at $18. That's what you start off at, but you still have your commission, you still have your bonus pays, like all of these things. Like, there are little incentives here and there that up that paycheck, along with all the free gratises that you get. It's worth it. It's worth it to work somewhere and to come home with $300 perfume that you otherwise would not have been able to get. So you can literally go from barely scraping by to making a solid income that allows you to have a life that most people only can dream about. And it's possible to earn more just by excelling at what you do. And that's personally why I love luxury retail. Once I got out of high school and I left DSW and I went on to work for Victoria's Secret, the amount of free stuff that I was getting was unreal. Like, I started to give it away to my family because I knew that these were things that they would never be able to afford on their own. So I'm like, here, like, what do you need? Tell me what you need. I can get it for you. Especially when I worked at Marc Jacobs, they're like, we need a purse. I'm like, I can get you a purse. And the thing about Marc Jacobs and the thing about Tiffany & Co. and the thing about Sephora is that all of these stores are under the LVMH umbrella. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. Well, I'm gonna say I don't work there anymore, but when you do work for stores that are under the LVMH umbrella, you get not only discounts on your brand that you work for, but other brands. So when I was at Marc Jacobs, I got discounts at Tiffany & Co. And there was like an annual employee sale for each one of the brands that are under the LVMH umbrella. So the Tiffany & Co. bracelets that were like $6,000, you could get it for $200. Like, they were like, those were the types of experiences that I had. And you get skills that you can take anywhere. So the skills that you learn in luxury are transferable. So for me personally, I use luxury retail to not only, enhance my skill set for myself and to become a luxurious version of myself, but I also use them to get me to a place that I needed to go, because I wasn't able to complete college at the time, because when I left school, my family really needed money, so they rented out my room. So I didn't have a home to come back to. So that meant that while I was away and it was summer and all my other friends were at home, I had to get an apartment. And getting an apartment took away from my schoolwork because I had to get a job to pay for the apartment. So I really had to, I really had to make it on my own, and I didn't really have the help that I needed because my family also needed help. So being in luxury retail allowed me to start earning high income simply because of the skills that I earned from that. Being able to put on my resume, yeah, I worked at all these places, and being able to use them as a reference got me into doors that I never thought I'd be in, like doors where they were hiring entry-level positions, and most people who wanted to apply, they had associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and I had nothing, but they were giving me the job because they knew that I come from an experience where you have to give excellent customer service. And I was able to get into the corporate bank offices like Fifth Third and working in like loss mitigation and things like that. Money that I never thought would be possible was possible, and I was now like 22 years old, and I had this large luxury loft apartment, and it was beautifully furnished and decorated, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm really doing the damn thing. I had bought me a brand new car, and it was just a beautiful experience, and I never finished school. But now I'm finally at the place where I can go back to school because I'm not responsible for my bills anymore. My husband is responsible for my bills. So I can go to school and finish. But you learn those customer service sales techniques. You learn how to engage with people and how to sell anything. I'll never forget because I like to travel. So I wanted a job at Delta because you get free flights. So when I got to the interview, they asked me to sell them a pen, and I sold them a pen. And I got the job, and the very next week, me and my friend, we were on a trip to Palm Springs. Okay, we were out of there. But most importantly, you learn how to present yourself in the most professional way possible. Those skills will literally follow you throughout your career, and they can be used virtually anywhere. When I first started working in luxury retail, I had no idea how it would change my life. Honestly, I didn't even know that it was luxury. I just knew that it was expensive. But slowly, everything began to shift. You know, my income began to grow, my mindset started to evolve, and I started attracting opportunities that I never thought I could have. I went from not knowing how I was going to pay rent one month to traveling the world the next, enjoying fine dining and building a network of incredible people, and they all helped me grow. I've learned what it takes to live a life of luxury, and it's not just about money. It's about changing your mindset and understanding the value of quality and surrounding yourself by successful people who push you to do better. Now you might be thinking, well, girl, how can I start? You got to tell me something. I know that's your story, but what about me? I got you. So here's the thing, no matter where you come from, no matter where you are right now, luxury retail can literally take you from having nothing to having everything. And here's how. First of all, start where you are. You don't need to have any special qualifications or prior experience. Just start where you are and let the job be your school. Learn everything you can, ask questions, stay curious. If they're giving you a tour of the store, if you're in your interview, ask as many questions as possible. Master the art of sales. Sales is literally the backbone of luxury. The more you understand what customers want and how to deliver that experience, the more that you get out of your experience. Commit to growth. Luxury retail is not a job for the faint of heart. Honestly, like, you will deal with some jerks, okay? But the experience is worth it. So if you're committed to learning, growing, leveling up, the industry will reward you in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And keep your eyes out for opportunities. The beauty of luxury retail is that it doesn't just offer a paycheck. It offers access to an entirely new world of opportunities. Whether it's a promotion, a side hustle, or a business idea that sparks in your brain, the opportunities are endless. And really quickly, speaking of business ideas that spark in your brain, I'm going to just insert some clips here because I actually did start a business when I was working in luxury retail, and my business grossed over $20,000 just in under 6 months. Now that I'm in a place where my bills are able to be paid regardless of what I do, I'm like, I want to take this opportunity to finish school, get my degree, and then focus on my brand. Focus on luxury retail for fun, maybe if I want a little side job. But yeah. But I put my brand on a hiatus because I really wanted to focus on school, and we were just so busy with orders. Like when I shut down my shop, it was because I was overwhelmed because we had over $3,000 worth of orders in the Shopify at that time. And I'm like, this is too much. I can't do this and school. So I made a choice, and I made a choice to finish school because that's what I set out to do from the beginning. So after I finish, then I will reopen, and hopefully everything will be copacetic. I literally still get people emailing me all the time, like, what happened to your website? I need your products. And I'm just like, I got you, but you're gonna have to wait until I finish. But that is what luxury retail did for me. It taught me how to start a luxurious brand and how to scale it, how to grow it, and how to bring in money from that brand. So if you're wanting to get a job in a luxury retail industry, it's very simple, honestly. Like even if your previous experience is like Walmart or like McDonald's or something, it doesn't matter. Okay? You have to shape your resume for what they're looking for, okay? And that's what ChatGPT and all the other AIs are for, okay? Just tell them, like literally type in, I need to get hired at such and such job. Give me a resume that that aligns with what they're looking for. Here's their job description. Here are the places that I've worked. And they will give you like the descriptions and how to put it in your resume so that it dings off in their system so that they have to pick you for an interview. So first off, understand the industry that you're trying to apply for. So research those luxury brands. If you get called in for an interview, the first thing that they're going to want to know is, what do you know about their brand? And you have to know something, okay? Know their brand, research it, make them feel confident enough that you will be a great salesperson, that you will be able to tell anybody who walks through that door what their brand stands for. And study the luxury retail trends. Know what's popping right now. Like, know what people are wearing. Know what's trending. Know what's not. Like, these are things that if you're trying to work in luxury retail, then these are things that you should know. And then on your resume, you need to highlight those transferable skills. Highlight the fact that you've worked in customer service. Almost any job is customer service, okay? Highlight the fact that you have excellent communication skills. Highlight the fact that you pay attention to detail, because detail is luxury. Everything that is luxurious has an immense amount of details. That is what makes it luxury, not the price tag, it's the details. And also problem solving and adaptability. That is also a transferable skill. Let them know that you can problem solve, because of course in luxury retail, you're gonna deal with some problems, okay? Especially from customers, because a lot of them are entitled. But with the entitled ones, you have to know how to deal with them with class, with poise. You have to learn how to deal with them as if you work at a luxury store. So problem solving skills. You need to have that somewhere in your resume. Okay, and focus on your style and your presentation. If you go in there, you cannot look trashy. Okay, you're not gonna get hired if you look a mess. Get on Pinterest and look up, luxury outfits or something, and try to copy what they're wearing. Go to Goodwill. Goodwill only has, well, I'm not gonna say they only have classy clothes, but if you look hard enough, you can find you a cute blazer. You can find you some cute slacks and a nice blouse. Okay, that would be a cute, luxurious outfit. Okay, when you go in there, they should be able to take one look at you, because it only takes 7 seconds to pass judgment. They should be able to take one look at you and be like, yes, I would hire them. Not only that, be well spoken. Take your time when you speak. Actually listen to the question and understand what it is that they're asking you. A lot of these luxury retail stores like to ask experience-based questions like, if a customer were to yell at you, what would you do? Those are the type of questions that they like to ask. They want you to put yourself in the shoes of someone who works there. So make sure that you're taking your time, you're speaking well, you're speaking elegantly, and you sound like you have some level of common sense. Also, connect with people who work there. Even if you just go in there and you start chatting with a sales associate who works there or someone who works there, and just give them a compliment. Hey, I like your shoes. Oh my gosh, this is super cute. Look around for a little bit, be a customer. Be a customer there, and eventually just be like, hey, are you guys hiring? And if they say, yeah, we are, just be like, oh, okay, like I wanted to put an application. How do I do that? Even if you already know how to do that, okay? They tell you how, and for me, my experience most of the times, people give you a card and they write their name on the back, and I just use them as a reference. Now you've networked. And make sure that your resume and your cover letter are strong if you have a cover letter. If not, make sure your resume is strong. But I always recommend getting a cover letter as well, because cover letters really let them know that you mean business. Like, you are serious about their brand. You want to work for them. And when you're in your interview, it is so very important to be enthusiastic. I know that some people can find this annoying, but being bubbly, being happy, being overly ecstatic, that is what people are looking for, because they know that you're not going to be a problem when you work here. You're going to be super happy. This is their first time meeting you, and you seem to be an extremely happy person. So we need people like that. And if you still can't find a job after that, seasonal. Apply for a seasonal job there. During the holiday season, so many luxury retail stores are hiring. Get in where you fit in. If you can get in for seasonal, that is great because you get to put that on your resume, and then you can go the very next year and you can find another luxury retail store that's not hiring for seasonal, but they're looking for someone to work there, and you already have a seasonal experience. So look, I'm living proof that luxury retail can change your life. I didn't come from money. I didn't grow up with privilege, but I exposed myself to luxury. And through hard work, dedication, and a willingness to learn, I now have a life that I never dreamed of, honestly. So if you're stuck, if you're looking for a way out of your current situation, I want you to know that it is possible. Working in luxury retail is literally just the beginning because you have the power to change your future. I used it as a stepping stool. Okay, I worked in luxury retail. I gained the experience that I needed to get myself into higher places with more people, with more experiences, with more money, and it worked. So take that first step, and I promise you, you will see your life change in ways that you never thought. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something about luxury retail and how it can transform your life. If you did like this video, please hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel and share it with somebody who you think could use this video. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
I wanna share my world, don't you understand?